You walk through a crowded room, yet feel utterly alone. Every glance, every whisper drains a little more of your energy, as if invisible cords are tethered to your soul, pulling you into shadows you can't see. You've learned to shield, to hide, to protect what's fragile inside. But still, the weight remains, this quiet exhaustion, this feeling of being hollowed out, even after all the effort. You close your eyes for a moment, hoping to find a moment of peace, but instead, there's only silence, the kind that whispers of unseen worlds, of parts of yourself that you dare not face. You wonder if this is what it truly means to be an empath, always giving, never quite replenishing. And in that stillness, a quiet question stirs. Is this exhaustion some kind of protection, or a silent surrender? Maybe the tools you once relied on, ambition, validation, hustle, have simply lost their power. The familiar map you carried through life, guiding you to success and approval, no longer fits. That gnawing emptiness, that confusion, it's not a sign of failure, it's a sign that the old story is ending. Think of it as a quiet dusk where the sun dips below the horizon, not because the light is gone, but because it's preparing to rise again in a new form. What if this numbness isn't a void, but the hollowed space left behind when something inside you begins to die? Jung saw it as the moment when the false masks we wear, the personas, begin to crack, revealing the raw, unfiltered core beneath. It's as if your previous self, the one chasing success or avoiding pain, is slowly dissolving into the shadows, not because you failed, but because the old self can't hold the coming truth. This space you're in, the uncertainty, the disconnection, is not a mistake, it's the threshold of transformation, the liminal zone where the familiar falls away, making room for something real to emerge. Awakening isn't a bright light that illuminates the way. It's the silent, often uncomfortable death of what no longer serves, and in that quiet death, a new version of you begins to be reborn. What if this ache you feel, this quiet emptiness, is not the end of your story? Carl Jung whispered that the darkness we fear is often the birthplace of transformation. It is not a failure, but a sacred pause, a moment in the alchemical process where lead becomes gold, where the ego's funeral gives way to the rebirth of the true self. Imagine yourself in the stillness of a cave where shadows dance and fade, revealing the ancient truth that you are more than what you appear to be. This pain, this confusion, might be the cocoon, an invitation to surrender the illusion of control and step into the mystery within. The archetypes stir beneath the surface, whispering of a deeper purpose, waiting for your recognition. You are not lost in the storm. You are in the eye of it, where the old ways dissolve and a new awareness begins to stir. The self, like a seed buried in darkness, is unfolding into light. Remember, the journey isn't about fixing what's broken, but about embracing the process of becoming. The night is where the stars are born, and the quiet before dawn holds the promise of awakening. This is your initiation, your silent rebirth. Trust that beyond the shadows, a new version of you awaits, ready to emerge from the depths, shining with the truth of your inner alchemy. There's a heaviness, a silent weight that lingers beneath the surface, like an unseen shadow whispering in the dark. It's as if part of you is buried deep, hidden away, locked behind walls you've built to survive. But why does that weight feel so persistent, so unshakable? According to Jung, this is the presence of your shadow, the repressed pieces of yourself that you've pushed into the dark. It's not just the mistakes or traumas you prefer to forget, it's the raw truth you've hidden from yourself. Perhaps it's the fiery passion you've muted, or the fears you refuse to face. Maybe it's the part of you that still feels shame or vulnerability, kept behind a fortress of silence. This numbness isn't absence, it's an overflow of emotion, trapped behind a wall of denial. It's the memory of your true self, trying to break free through the cracks of your carefully curated life. Your fire, once bright, now smoldering in the shadows, is waiting to be seen again, Recognizing this shadow is the first step, a gentle invitation to face what lurks in the dark. Not to judge, but to understand, because only in bringing it into the light can you begin to uncover who you are truly meant to become. The ego clings to the familiar, the rules of survival, success, and the identity it's built to protect. Meanwhile, the emerging self whispers truths that are confusing yet undeniable, calling you toward authenticity. These parts are now in conflict, neither fully in control, creating an internal turbulence that's hard to ignore. You want to move forward, to embrace what's emerging, but something pulls you back, as if a cord keeps you tethered to the past. Your body feels present, but your soul feels distant, lost in a place of hesitation. You long for silence, for clarity, yet in stillness, anxiety rises like a storm. This tension echoes Jung's idea of the crisis before integration, a breaking of the shell that separates you from your true self. It's exhausting, as if you're being pulled into directions simultaneously. Doubts creep in. Which part is really me? Shame for slipping back into old patterns, grief for the fading version of yourself. But understand this split is not dysfunction. It's a sacred phase of transformation. You are not failing. You are in the midst of breaking free from an old identity, preparing to reconstruct with greater authenticity. Though painful, this inner war is the doorway to alignment, the necessary chaos before rebirth. What if this inner tension isn't a sign that you failed, but rather the sacred beginning of something more real? Think of your chaos not as destruction, but as the alchemical fire that transforms lead into gold. You're not breaking apart, you're breaking open, creating space for new life to emerge. Healing isn't about erasing the past, it's about reintegrating it, weaving the fragments into a richer, more authentic whole. In Jung's view, this is the dance of individuation, bringing the unconscious into conscious awareness, allowing the shadow and the light to converse. It's like building a grand inner architecture, where each broken piece and hidden corner finds its place in a sacred blueprint. This chaos becomes the fertile soil of your soul, composting old identities and nourishing the growth of your truest self. Remember, confusion is simply the mind's way of reorganizing itself, and emptiness signals a space where truth will soon grow. Guilt whispers from the depths, urging you to shed false roles, each feeling a sign of transformation, not failure. No transformation happens in comfort. Growth often wears the mask of grief. When the soul reorders itself, it may feel like falling apart, but underneath, it's a deeper coming together. Trust this process. Your inner chaos is the alchemy that leads to clarity, purpose, and authentic alignment. You are not lost, you are being reborn in the fires of your own sacred transformation. The life you once chased no longer feels right, and that's not a failure, it's an invitation to redefine what matters. This process isn't about anchoring yourself in the ego's roles or achievements anymore. It's about forming an identity rooted in resonance, presence, and authenticity. Imagine designing a home for your soul, not a costume for your persona. Instead of wearing masks, you're learning to become transparent, letting your true self emerge. What once fueled your motivation may no longer serve. Now you're fed by what feels genuinely true to you, drawing from Jung's idea of individuation. This is about becoming the self, not who others expect you to be, but who you are at your core, like Nietzsche's call for self-creation and overcoming. This is a continuous act of shaping yourself anew. You might start saying no to relationships that demand performance, leaving jobs that clash with your values, or pursuing hobbies simply because they spark joy without needing to justify. This is true freedom, conscious creation, not chaos. You're not reinventing yourself, you're revealing who you've always been. And as you do, you gently prepare to reconnect with the world, bringing your authentic self into purpose, service, and expression. Now that you've begun to listen inward and reclaim your true essence, the world around you shifts in meaning. This isn't about returning to the old, superficial patterns. It's about stepping into a new way of being aligned, authentic, and deeply present. Reconnection becomes sacred, a gentle act of bringing your inner light into the outer world with intention and grace. You might find yourself speaking more truthfully, even if your voice trembles. You create without asking permission, allowing your unique expression to flow naturally. You walk away from roles or relationships that no longer resonate, honoring your inner truth. Life feels slower, more deliberate, less about proving yourself, and more about participating authentically. You respond with presence, not reaction. Your life is becoming art, not argument. Imagine attracting those who see the real you, those who resonate with your newfound clarity. You lead by living, by embodying your values, rather than persuading or performing. There's a quiet power in this gentle rebellion. Your truth becomes medicine, a gift you share without force. Inviting others to do the same, as Jung suggested, the self now interacts with the collective, bringing wisdom and healing. This sacred return is your invitation to participate fully, with integrity and heart, preparing the path for the symbolic, soulful life that awaits, where inner guidance and divine synchronicities become your compass. This is the language of the symbolic life, a realm where meaning surpasses mere words and logic. According to Jung, this is no superstition, but a profound form of psychological and spiritual intelligence, where the world becomes a mirror of your inner truth, and every moment holds archetypal significance. Dreams reveal emotional depths, moments echo with synchronicities, and nature or art seem to speak directly to your soul. To navigate this terrain, stillness is essential, trusting what you feel over what you think. It's about embracing the mystery, the not knowing, and opening to a deeper self beyond the ego's grasp. Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are," reminding us that this symbolic perception is a natural step in individuation, a dialogue between the conscious and unconscious, where symbols become co-creators of your journey. Life ceases to be a series of problems to solve and becomes instead a poem to translate. This isn't passivity, but participation, an invitation to listen, respond, and co-create with the subtle messages that speak in patterns and shapes. Here, you begin to see that your inner world is alive, whispering secrets that lead you toward purpose, integration, and the next sacred chapter of your evolving self. You have traveled through the shadows, sat in the void, and listened to your soul's whispers, awakening to a deeper truth within. This internal journey of transformation has led you to embrace your authentic self, to live symbolically and consciously, recognizing that your life is a canvas of meaning and purpose. Now your deepest truth is ready to be shared, not as performance, but as genuine presence. True contribution isn't about perfection or applause. It's about showing up fully, imperfectly, and consistently, allowing your unique voice to flow through creative projects. Healing others with your lived experience, mentoring, or simply holding space in everyday kindness and integrity. Remember, Jung's wisdom, individuation, culminates in service to the collective, where your wholeness becomes a bridge connecting inner and outer worlds. Embrace Mate's call for compassionate authenticity, and Nietzsche's reminder that life itself is a creative act of becoming. Let go of fears of judgment, rejection, or inadequacy. Resistance to vulnerability is natural, but your courage to be seen ignites the ripples of legacy, small acts infused with presence and heart that shape a more compassionate, connected world. This isn't a finish line, it's a new beginning. Keep growing, keep expressing, and keep serving from the fullness of your awakened self. Your story, your gifts, and your authenticity are needed now more than ever. Step into your truth and illuminate the way for others to do the same.